Alright, so Super Mario Brothers. Memories I have with this game. First video game I ever played in my life. I used to live in Edmonton. I didn't have an NES at the time. My friend, who was also my neighbor down the street from me, he and his older brother had it. And this was like maybe like 80, maybe 87, something like that. It was like, I was very young. Like, I'm a 1984 baby. I enjoyed like cartoons, toys, but like video games were such a new thing. Yeah, I remember playing this game and being completely obsessed with it. I didn't know what the names of anything was. I just like called them like the little creatures that you like stomp on. I remember at kindergarten, I would have killed for like a Super Mario Brothers toy or like something like that back in the day. I had to make do with my imagination and just like whatever I could get my hands on, like plastic accordion tube looking toy things. I just pretended that those were Goombas and I would just flatten them. That was the best I could do with pretending to play Mario with like a toy or something. But when I hung out with my friends and my neighbors, I remember we were like on a swing set. We didn't realize that at the time, like it's supposed to be Mario throwing the fireballs. At the time, we thought that he was spitting them, so we thought he was like spitting the fireballs out. Like, look at this, look at this. Blah, 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 blah. Look like little kid us, like little kid versions of us thought he was spitting the fireballs. So I was like, yeah, I guess I can understand that. I did get a Nintendo Entertainment System later on when my family and I moved to the US. We got the special set that included like the 3-in-1 game. It was the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt and World Class Track Meet. So it came with 2 controllers, the NES Zapper, and the Power Pad. We played those games a lot, but Super Mario Brothers was definitely the best, like most fleshed out game that we enjoyed. Yeah, it would have been about 4 or 5 when I got it at home. Like, I didn't have to go to my friend's house or anything like that anymore. And I couldn't because we lived in a different country at this time, right? So, yeah, it was nice of my parents to get us the Nintendo Entertainment System. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, this was just like one of those games that was like a huge milestone. Everybody loved it when it first came out, and it blew everybody away. Ah, dude, I hate these guys. At least I killed you, you son of a bitch. This game was one of those games that we could play. I actually had a very difficult time beating it. It's not like I beat it regularly or anything like that. I would play it until I couldn't go any further, and then I would just stop and be proud of myself for as far as I could go. When they re-released this game as, like, you know, in the Super Mario All-Stars cartridge for the SNES a few years later, it was kind of nice to be able to save your game, right? So that was nice, being able to do that. I bought... Oops. I bought this game when they re-released it for the Game Boy Color as Super Mario Bros. DX. I also got it when they re-released this game as a Game & Watch. I am sorry to an old friend of mine named... We'll just call him N. Basically our de facto babysitter when I was very young. I don't remember this because I was so young when this happened, but he did, and he told me later on, many years later, and I just want to apologize. Apparently, he had beaten the game on the original Nintendo system, NES, and he found out that after you beat the game, it goes back to the beginning, but they make it harder. Like, they replace the Goombas with Buzzy Beetles and stuff to, like, make it more of a challenge. And he went through all this effort, and apparently I got to his house, and I was like, oh, cool, you playing Super Mario Brothers? And then we played for a bit, and I was like, oh, this is too hard. So I hit the reset button, thus completely erasing his progress, and he was just, like, saying under his breath, like, oh my god. So I'm sorry, N. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I was a dumb kid, and I didn't realize that you had gone through all that just to have me just completely erase your progress, man. I'm sorry. But you know what? This game doesn't save. Out of luck anyway, so. I liked how the original Super Smash Bros. They had the classic Mushroom Kingdom as like a playable stage. Only secret stage in that game. Growing up, I didn't realize that that was a skull on the flag at the ends of the stages. I thought it was a peace sign. So I was like, why is Mario getting rid of peace? Like, turns out it's a skull. You're taking down the flag of the skull. So, yeah. Oh, I can do that. I can do that. Oh, no! Horrible timing. Horrible timing. Horrible timing. Horrible timing. Yes! Yeah, so, yeah, the first video game I ever played, a game I enjoyed a lot growing up. Oh yeah, cute little story. My dear sweet grandmother, my dad's mom, I remember when she came to visit me in the United States, she found a copy of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt in her storage room, and she had stored some stuff for me and my cousins, but mostly my cousins. And she came down to the US and found this Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt cartridge in her storage room, and she thought it was mine. So she brought it down all the way from Canada. I didn't ask for it. I wasn't like begging her for it. I wasn't bugging her or anything like that. She just saw this and thought it was mine, and she brought it back. And I thought that was just so sweet of her that I went downstairs into my game room and played it. I don't think I beat it. I was just like, thank you so much, Gran. Thank you for finding this old game. But I actually don't know if that was mine. It might have been my cousin's. Love you, Gran. Miss you, Gran. Another fun memory is my buddy JP. He came and visited me while I was in college, and my roommate bought an old Nintendo system with Super Mario Brothers on it, and he was visiting me and another friend who was also at the same school. We'll just call him W. And when both JP and W saw this game, like the NES, they're like, "Oh boy, Super Mario Brothers, let's play it," and they agreed to take turns playing the game. So like, they didn't do it based on like the level; they based it on who died. And, you know, JP went first, and he died, like, almost right away, maybe, like, the first or second level, but W, he was a pro, and he made it, like, really, really far into the game before he died, so JP is just sitting there waiting for W to be done, and it was, like, such a long wait, so he got a little, like, he got a little frustrated, and even though he had died, he just kept playing while W was distracted, because he called him the game beater. Like, you're hogging the game beater. It's like, sorry, man. I had a Super Mario Brothers birthday party. I was thrilled to find Super Mario Brothers stuff like plates and napkins at this party store. And I had a Super Mario Brothers birthday party, which was around the same time as the movie came out, like the 1993 movie. And I remember me and my friends at the time, we went into the shopping mall to like go to the movie theater, and we were gonna see Super Mario Brothers later that day, and we were like dressed up as Mario characters, mostly just like Mario and Luigi and stuff, you know. And we saw the movie, and we, you know, enjoyed it, I guess, but like it definitely was not anything like the source material. But keep in mind, this was back in the day when things were a lot different. Like, they didn't have abundant usage of CGI to make convincing looking special effects. So like a lot of the time there was the question, like I remember having that, you know, my babysitters asking me this, which was like when I'm about to like watch a movie that I wanted to watch, one of the things they asked was the show I wanted to watch cartoon or real life? And I just associated things with like, okay, there's like the cartoon version and there's the real life version. So things that take like a little bit of liberties to make it more realistic. For example, like I saw the Ghostbusters cartoon before I saw the live action movie that the Ghostbusters was based on, right? So like, okay, there's the Ghostbusters cartoon and there's like the real life version of Ghostbusters, and same thing when the Ninja Turtles movie came out. Like the cartoon that I was familiar with, that all the kids are familiar with, and then there was the 1990 live action movie. It's like, oh cool, so this is what Ninja Turtles would look like if it was real. They don't have like robot foot soldiers or Krang or anything like that, but they have Shredder, and they have foot soldiers that are humans, so I thought that was pretty cool. There's like a cartoon and then there's real life. So I thought that like, okay, so for Super Mario Brothers, the video games are obviously like the cartoony version, or the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, like the legit cartoon of Super Mario Brothers. And like, okay, so so when the movie came out, I was like, okay, so this is what like a real life live action Super Mario Brothers would look like. So like they got Mario and Luigi down pretty well. Bowser is just like a dude who's really like a dinosaur disguised as a dude. The Goombas are like these like dinosaur monster guys. Yoshi looks like a realistic raptor, and so on and so forth. So I was just like, okay, so there's cartoon Super Mario Brothers and there's real life Super Mario Brothers. So this is just what it is. And so that's why I didn't really get disappointed by it. I enjoyed it for what it was. Like, oh cool, I get to see a real life interpretation of Super Mario Brothers, but like, you know, looking back, like that movie was really fucking weird. was really weird. I remember watching it on TV many years after the fact, and yeah, I was just like, man, I can't believe this is like the Super Mario Brothers movie we got. So yeah. Alright, so Super Mario Brothers 2, if you've seen my video covering it, I told you I always pick the princess, but that's not true, unfortunately. Me and my brother, at first we went with Toad, because Toad can pluck plants out of the ground faster than anybody. He's got, like, the fastest, like, plucking speed. It's like, is Toad stronger than them? Like, no, it's just because I figured, well, look at him, he's like a fungus man, right? So he's obviously more in touch with, like, taking stuff out of the ground, because he is, like, kind of a plant, right? I mean, a fungus is not a plant exactly, but it's closer to being a plant than a person is. This game was, like, already out when I started getting into video games, so it's not like I had, like, anticipation or build up to this or anything like that. It was a game that, you know, we enjoyed, but like a lot of kids, we were kind of confused, like, why is this game so different? Like, where are the Goombas and Koopa Troopas? Where's Bowser? Where are the Hammer Brothers? What is this place, Subcon? Like, all these questions. Now, of course, I know in 2026, earlier, I know the reason why, and it's because when they were localizing the original Super Mario Bros. 2, like, which is called The Lost Levels here in the US, they were localizing it for a North American audience. The playtesters told the Japanese Nintendo headquarters people that this game was, like, way too hard, and, like, kids were not going to be able to enjoy it as much as kids in Japan are much more skilled at video games than kids here in the US, so it's like, no, don't even bother. Like, kids are going to get so frustrated with this, so don't even bother. So they just took this other game called Doki Doki Panic and released it as Super Mario Bros. 2. They just changed the character sprites. So that's why it's different, but back in the day, we did not know that. That was news to us. So, it was good. It just has, as I mentioned in my video covering this game properly, it just has the rotten luck of having to be compared to... Oops. Has the rotten luck of being compared to the original Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 3, which are, like, two of the greatest games ever made and two of the most influential platformers ever made. Not like it's a bad game, it's just, like, inferior to those titles, in my opinion. The music in this game is dope, though, and I do like how it introduced more characters and concepts to the Mario lore. Like the Shy Guys, Sniffits, Birdo. This game I felt like it was, like, a little lacking. Like, it was good, but, like, there's the Super Mushroom, yeah, and there's, like, the Super Star. But, like, what other power-ups are there? There's no Fire Flower, and compared to Super Mario Bros. 3... it's like there's no frog suit, there's no hammer suit, and there's no raccoon tail or tanuki suit or whatever, so... like, it felt like there was more to this game to be desired. But I remember liking it and enjoying it. Mario merchandise used to be incredibly rare and scarce and hard to find back in the day. Now, you can just go to freaking CVS and find a Mario plushie or a toy or something like that. Like, at CVS, man. I never would have guessed to find anything like that at a freaking CVS when I was young, man. If you had told me that when I was a kid, I would not have believed you that was gonna be a thing. The very, very rare Mario stuff that you could find featured Super Mario Bros. 2 graphics and characters a lot, because we didn't have that much to choose from. Like, it wasn't like today where there's, like, countless Mario titles, and Mario, like, all they had to do was just put Mario in a game and it would sell. Back then, there weren't that many Mario games to choose from, so we were just grateful that we could get anything, really. So, you know, we just enjoyed this. I thought it was a pretty solid game. It wasn't as good as Super Mario Bros. 1, but it wasn't until my friend CM, he was the one who told me, like, oh yeah, always pick the princess, because she can just fly over everything. And I didn't even really think about that. Hey, you know what, you're right, she does fly over everything. That's pretty dope. So, it's because of CM that I pick the princess all the time. I think of him whenever I choose the princess in the game. Additionally, when the Game Boy Advance launched in 2001, I was so hyped for it because I love Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. When the Game Boy Advance was announced, not only was it solid graphics, but it was color. Color screen was, like, you had games that were in full color. It was kind of a big deal. So the fact that, like, the Game Boy Advance was launching with, like, solid graphics and had color, it was, like, so cool, and I really wanted to get it. So I got it the day it came out, and one of the launch titles was Super Mario Advance, which was basically a Game Boy Advance version of this game, Super Mario Bros. 2. So I got to relive and enjoy this game all over again. And yeah, of course I beat it. Oh yeah, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, one of those shows that I would have been thrilled to have caught when it was on TV. It's not like today where you can just like watch whatever you want on demand. You might be able to set your VCR to record a show while you were busy or not available. There were shows that were on TV that I just watched when I just felt like watching TV, not necessarily like, oh boy, this show is on, I can't wait to watch this show. There were a lot of shows that were like, I'm bored, I just want to watch TV, what is on? And I would just watch whatever the least crappy show was on. Like, there were a bunch of shows that I felt like I was kind of stuck with, if you know what I mean. Like, shows that, like, I didn't, like, really enjoy. I was thrilled whenever I was able to watch the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, because I didn't know when the heck it was on. I just knew that it was a show that existed. Oh yeah, at Toys R Us, they had a video section, like you could buy video cassettes of like movies and shows and stuff. And I remember I was excited to buy a VHS of one episode of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Basically, it was called like Mario vs. Koopzilla. I remember that episode a lot because that was the one VHS of Super Mario Bros. Super Show that I got to check out. And they blended elements from the first two Super Mario Bros. Games, most notably the fact that it was like the four characters, Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess. One thing I will say, like I know I've been talking about what the game is lacking compared to the other titles, but one thing I do like about this game, there is no time limit. There's no timer at the top of the screen. It's like there's like, you know, seconds, but there's Mario seconds, right? Mario seconds are so much faster than real life seconds. Alright, so here we are. Super Mario Bros. 3. I didn't really touch on this in the video where I just beat this game as quickly as possible, but when I am unsure of what my favorite video game of all time is, I usually just go back to this one. This came out for the original hardware, right? How lucky we were that we had the NES, like the gaming system. There was basically nothing else out there. It was the NES. I didn't even know that the Master System, the Sega Master System, existed until later. I was like peripherally aware of the Atari 2600. The fact that we got not one, not two, but three solid titles of Super Mario, the ultimate video game series ever. Why do I love this title so much? Well, it was the first video game that I had hype for. I had anticipation and hype for before it came out. Because up until this point, I enjoyed Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2, and a bunch of other games, usually like Ninja Turtles, other games that I'd rent from the store, and sometimes buy like DuckTales. This game, I specifically remember getting so excited going to Toys R Us and seeing that they had the game in stock. You didn't just like go to the counter and pick up the game and take it to a checkout. You went to this video game section of the store, and they had these little tickets on a wall where they had all this cool video game artwork and promotional material and stuff. And if they had any tickets left in the games that you wanted, you would just take the ticket and go pay for it at the checkout counter, and then you would hand the ticket with the receipt proving that you bought it to this little like booth, kind of like a box office, where there would be like a guy behind a counter with like a sliding door, like a sliding window, and then you'd give the dude the ticket with the receipt, and then he would come back with your game. And I remember getting Super Mario Bros. 3 and being so excited about it. I would look at the box and like read about it and look at the artwork on the way home, even though I got car sick. I can't really read in cars without getting motion sick, but I didn't care because I really wanted to see what this game had to offer. And I got home and I played it, and it was just so cool. Like, what? There's a map? Like, this whole like concept of a map screen was brand new. I don't think any game, maybe Super Mario Bros. 3 was the first game to have a map screen like this. If that fact is contested, at the very least, it was the first game that I remember that had a map screen like this. Oh, cool, you can stop at like little mushroom houses to get items. Those little Hammer Brother guys are just like patrolling the kingdom, trying to guard the airship from being attacked by Mario. All these cool power-ups. Brought back the Fire Flower. The Fire Flower was back. And they added this raccoon leaf. I enjoyed the giant world. When I was a kid, that was my favorite world, because it was cool seeing all the jumbo-sized versions of all your familiar foes. But as I got older, as I played this game over the years, I think I can say confidently my favorite world is Sky World, World 5. Not just because it's got a cool theme, but I also like the fact that it has the only level in the game where you can play with the shoe, the Goomba shoe, or as it was known in the instruction manual, the Karibo's shoe, or the Power Player's Guide, or whatever. I was disappointed that you couldn't bring the shoe with you to the next stage. Another reason why I love Super Mario Bros. 3 so much, and I don't mean to sound like a corporate shill or anything like that, but when so I moved to the United States in 1989, and I missed my family and my friends so much back in Canada. The first time we went to visit them after we had moved to the US, it was so good to see them again. And I specifically remember going to the huge indoor water park at West Edmonton Mall and got to see my cousins again, my aunts and my uncles. They were kind enough to get McDonald's and bring us lunch for our lunch break, and that was the Super Mario Bros. 3 Happy Meal, and that is the best freaking Happy Meal to this day. Like, whoever was in charge of, like, Happy Meals at the time, you fucking killed it, dude. That was, like, the best. I got a Mario, one of my siblings got a Koopa Troopa, and I still have those toys to this day. Because, like, Mario toys and merchandise was kind of hard to find back then, especially in, like, the US and Canada and stuff. So, not only did I get, like, McDonald's, which is, like, what I loved as a kid, but I had, like, a physical toy of Mario, and I got to see my cousins again. So it wasn't just cool Mario toys. It also reminded me of that water park felt like the best, coolest place to be, and it was so cool to see my cousins again after being away for over a year, which when you're a little kid, I was like 5 or 6. Yeah, I think I was 5. A year feels like an eternity when you're a kid, right? So I just cherished. So those toys remind me of that reunion, and I don't visit my cousins and family up in Edmonton often enough. Where I live, there is no direct flights to there, and it's not cheap, man, and you gotta, you know, plan a bunch of time aside to go. It's not something I get to do nearly as often as I want at all. The last time I was in Edmonton was about 16 years ago for my grandfather's funeral. I was supposed to go back a few years ago for my grandmother's funeral, but it was right before COVID happened, so that unfortunately canceled all those plans to go pay my respects to her. So rest in peace, Grandma and Grandpa. I still love you and miss you. So yeah, like, that's part of the reason why I love this game so much. It wasn't just like a cool new Mario game, it was also like all the cool stuff I got to enjoy at the time and seeing my family again. Hey, look at that, I got a prize. Booyah. And like, the reason why in my video covering this game I just beat it as soon as possible is because, like, I know that there's like all these cool speedrunning videos, and it was really cool seeing that tool-assisted speedrun video, like, back in the day. But, you know, for the average player, for the average casual video game player, I would consider myself an above-average video game enthusiast. I'm definitely not, like, a speedrunner or a pro, like, gamer type thing. I'm just like a slightly above average dude who likes to talk about this kind of junk, and I enjoy talking with people about it and sharing memories and stuff with that. I figured if you are more like me, chances are you are more like me than like a pro speedrunner guy. I figured if you're just trying to beat the game as soon as possible, like, this is my recommended way. Because, like, you could just do the whole 2 warp whistle thing and just go straight to World 8. But if you do that, then you don't really have that many items in your inventory like here, and sometimes it really makes a difference to, like, how much easier it makes the level and getting through it. And also you build up a few more lives. Like, I feel like, especially back in the day, if you had, like, at least 10 or 15 lives or so, like, you could probably get through it pretty well before you had to, like, use a continue or anything like that. So, and one thing I forgot to mention in the video, I really wish I had included it in the video, when you beat the game, it starts you over at the beginning, but you have an inventory full of P-Wings. If you really want to beat the game, but you're having a hard time with it, I would love to beat the game for you and then send it back to you so you can enjoy the game with a whole inventory of P-Wings. So that way you can enjoy the game at your own leisure, and if there's a level that's particularly annoying, chances are you can just get a P-Wing equipped and just fly over it, or at the very least make it a lot easier to manage. Yeah, I love this game, but not just the game itself, but the time period that it came out in. It was like really exciting time to be alive. Ah! Oh, Oh, see, that's the quicksand in combination with the sun that sucks. Back in the day, a lot of people had hype for this game because of the movie The Wizard, which not only did I not watch that movie when it came out and when I was a kid, I didn't even know that movie existed until way after the fact. And I watched it years later, and it was pretty good. It was fine, I guess. Like, is it the best movie ever made? No, but it is a nice little snapshot, like a little time capsule to kind of show what it was like back then. But obviously, the movie is just a glorified feature-length Nintendo commercial. I first heard of Super Mario Bros. 3 because of the commercials and Nintendo Power, and I do remember that Nintendo Power had an entire strategy guide. I had that guide, and I basically brought it with me almost everywhere for a time. I did leave it lying down on the floor, and my little sister accidentally stepped on one of the pages and tore a corner, and I was so disappointed. I was so upset that it got torn. But I also, I didn't get too upset because I was like, I can tape it. And I taped the corner back, and I did such a good job. I specifically remember being very proud of myself for taping the corner of that strategy guide back on perfectly. Like, you couldn't even tell that it got torn ever. And, like, only if you know that exact page and you look specifically in the corner of that page will you be able to find any sort of clue that it was torn to begin. Super pleased with myself. It had a lot of cool illustrations in it, information about the enemies and stuff, and I do remember that the one thing it did not feature, like, it featured maps and like tips about everything. The one thing it didn't feature was Bowser and like how to beat Bowser. It was like, you're on your own there, and I thought it was kind of like an oh shit moment, like, oh shit, like, oh, you're at Big Bad Bowser. And of course, when I reached it, among the first times I ever played it, it was pretty scary, but just like, no big deal now, so I really enjoy that. I do like how the Tanuki suit, you can turn into a statue and you don't get hurt by most of the enemies. You also can kill the fire on airship levels where it shoots like little flames at you. You can kill the flames by turning into a statue and landing on it. I thought that was pretty dope. I do like how the hammers can kill, like, just about everything. They made a show about Super Mario Bros. 3. I unfortunately did not get to check out back in the day. I only knew it existed through magazines and stuff. I never actually got to watch it. Kids today, man, I don't mean to sound like an old man, like, on a rocking chair in a front patio type complaining guy, but you kids have no idea how good you have it when it comes to stuff like this. I didn't have, like, on-demand stuff. Sure, you could, like, record stuff on your VCR and maybe you could catch it later on, but I would just, like, watch TV. It was, like, usually a safe bet was, like, Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, sometimes Disney Channel, and I could just reliably wait for a show to come on that I might enjoy there. So, like, I didn't really know when the Super Mario Bros. 3 show was on or what channel it was on. I just knew it existed, but I never got to check it out back in the day. Only now, like, it's on, like, streaming services. It's okay now as a 41-year-old man. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys are willing to share. So yeah, just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay safe, stay awesome, stay cool. Please like and subscribe, and have a good one. You guys are awesome. See you guys later.